दी M1 Ultra। बाय गॉड, इसका नाम रात में इवेंट से पहले गेस हो चुका था। मतलब मैक्स आ गया था, प्रो आ गया था, तो बचा तो अल्ट्रा ही था। सो द न्यू M1 Ultra and with the launch of the new Mac Studio, I think it's safe to say that Apple has definitely entered the chat. That too with a superhero landing. लेकिन क्यों? After a long series of boring overpriced Mac Pros, why is Apple heavily focusing on performance computers? The answer probably is COVID-19. For context, before 2020 end or the pandemic, major company employees had to use their local machines for heavy computing activities. But after the whole work from home thing, companies started giving grants or allowances for employees to make their own personal computers. Now the PC market skyrocketed, like 51% growth in Q1 2021 and the largest since 2012. Now coming to the point कि how did Apple make this crazy M1 Ultra processor? मतलब mind blowing technology जो Apple Ultrafusion बोल रहा है उसको, ये actually Threadripper में पहले use हो चुका है. So the common thing between Threadrippers and M1 Ultra is actually TSMC. दोनों का मैन्युफैक्चर TSMC है. 4 साल पुराना Threadripper, आप उसको उल्टा करके देख लो. It's basically two processors joined together, and that's exactly what Apple did with M1 Ultra. It's essentially two M1 Max joined in. Peak performance. Now Apple Silicon has great power efficiency, and the M1 Ultra is no exception. Now they put up these graphs in their keynote for CPU and GPU performance. Each of them is against the mother of all flagships, 12900K and 1390. They say that their SoC gives 20% better performance than 12900K at almost 100 watt less, and similarly for the GPU at 200 watt less power. Well, that's not really fair. First, M1 Ultra being 20 cores and costing up to 6 lakhs. इसका एक्चुअल कॉम्पिटिटर वुड बी द थ्रेडरिपर एंड नॉट द i9. उसका सिस्टम 2-3 लाख के अंदर बन जाना चाहिए. सेकंड, दिस इज जस्ट अ बेंचमार्क एंड वी डोंट इवन नो व्हिच वन. Now the leaks have already started rolling in. On Twitter, we saw the Geekbench 5 score for the M1 Ultra and there's a 90% jump from its छोटा buy. It's also 9% better than the 3970X, जिसका सिस्टम आपको 4-5 लाख में बन जाएगा. That's actually crazy. A 20-core processor outperforming a 32-core processor while consuming 20% of that total power. But there's a big but here. This is just a benchmark. So real-world performance is really unpredictable because, example के लिए, if you take a different benchmark like Cinebench R23, the 1200K was 2.1 times better than M1 Max. So if the M1 Ultra scales similarly, then the i9 should still be 20% better. And the 3970 would be 90% faster. A point to note is AMD is actually coming up with the Threadripper 5000 series, which is promising a 4.5 GHz boost clock and IPC uplift. So we'll be excited to see how this stacks up against that. Now coming to the GPU, इसके बारे में तो बात नहीं करेंगे हम, please. You can see the benchmarks on your screen and guess for yourself that the M1 Ultra can keep up with the 3090 or not. So this really begs the question, as a professional, is Mac Studio a good choice for you? Maybe. अगर आपके पास 6 लाख रुपए हैं and you're okay with losing out on upgradability, hardware and software customizability because you have purchased this छोटू डब्बा and basically there's no room for expansion और 128GB unified memory से ज़्यादा आप आगे नहीं जा पाओगे, तब आपके लिए है. Just for context, the Threadripper supports up to 2 TB of memory. So yeah, and that's not unified and you have separate memory for the GPU as well. Also, some software for which Apple has advertised this Mac have better compatibility and support on Windows. So make sure you check that out as well. But wait, this doesn't mean the Mac Studio is not a good product. They're very excited for what this has to offer. Because if this is as fast as Apple claims it to be, Intel and AMD have a new rival, which only means that they will up their game and it's going to be better for us. And that was it from our side. Catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.